There was a time when I convinced myself that staying distant was the safest thing I could do. I built walls around my heart and hid behind a mask of indifference, pretending that nothing you did affected me. I acted as if I didn't notice your presence, your smiles, or the moments when you tried to get my attention. But the truth is, I noticed everything. I always did. For a long time, I kept my feelings locked away because I was afraid. Afraid of rejection, afraid of making things awkward between us, afraid of admitting something that had already become impossible to ignore. So instead of being honest, I stayed quiet and convinced myself that hiding my emotions would somehow protect me, but it never did. No matter how busy life became, you always found your way back into my thoughts. I threw myself into work, filled my schedule with distractions, and tried to focus on anything other than you. I hoped that if I stayed occupied long enough, the feelings would eventually fade. Instead, they only grew stronger. The quiet moments were always the hardest, whenever everything slowed down and I was left alone with my thoughts. Memories of you came rushing back. Your smile, your voice, the way you made ordinary conversations feel special. No matter where I was or what I was doing, there was always a part of me thinking about you. I even tried convincing myself that meeting new people would help me move on. I spent time with others, laughed, had conversations, and did everything I could to create distance between myself and these feelings. Yet somehow every connection felt incomplete. Every smile reminded me of yours. Every conversation made me miss hearing your voice even more. Without realizing it, you became the standard against which I measured every emotion, every connection, and every moment of happiness. The truth is, I love you. I love you more deeply than I ever thought possible. It's difficult to admit, because I spent so long denying it. I told myself these feelings weren't real, that they would disappear if I ignored them long enough. But I was wrong. The harder I tried to run from them, the stronger they became. It feels strange finally saying those words out loud. Yet at the same time, it feels like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders, like I've been holding my breath for years and can finally breathe again. I often imagine what it would be like to tell you this face to face, not through a message, not from a distance, just standing in front of you, looking into your eyes, and letting my heart speak honestly. I wonder how you would react. Maybe you'd be surprised. Maybe you'd laugh and tell me I'm being ridiculous. Maybe you wouldn't believe me at first. After all, who would expect the person who always acted distant to be the one secretly carrying all these feelings? But here I am. And if there's one thing I regret, it's all the time I wasted hiding behind fear. Looking back now, I realize there were so many moments when I could have been honest. So many opportunities to tell you how much you meant to me. Instead, I stayed silent because I didn't know how you felt. Then something changed. Little by little, I started noticing signs that maybe I wasn't alone in these feelings. The warmth in your smile, the way you looked at me when you thought I wasn't paying attention, the small gestures that spoke louder than words ever could. And suddenly, all those walls I had built around my heart began to fall apart. The truth is, I've cared about you for much longer than you probably realized. Long before I ever suspected you might feel the same way. You already held a special place in my heart. I just never had the courage to admit it. I'm sorry for the distance I created. I'm sorry for pretending not to care. I'm sorry for every moment when I made it seem like your presence meant nothing to me, because it meant everything. I care about your happiness. I care when you're excited about something. I care when you're struggling, feeling overwhelmed, or carrying burdens you don't talk about. Your laughter makes me happy, and seeing you upset genuinely hurts me. That's how much you matter to me. I know I haven't always handled these emotions well. Sometimes my fear made me act possessive or defensive. Sometimes I let my insecurities control my actions, but I've learned that real love isn't about control. It's about trust, patience, understanding, and choosing someone every single day. And if I'm lucky enough to have a chance with you, that's exactly what I want to give. I don't want this to remain an unspoken feeling anymore. I don't want to keep loving you in silence. I want the opportunity to build something real with you, something based on honesty, trust, and genuine connection. I want to be there for your happiest moments and support you through your hardest ones. I want to listen to your thoughts, share your dreams, celebrate your victories, and remind you of your worth whenever you forget it. Most of all, I want you to know that you are deeply loved. You once told me that the people who claim they'll never fall in love usually end up falling the hardest. I laughed when you said it. I thought you were wrong. Now I know you were absolutely right. Because somewhere along the way, without even realizing it, I fell completely and hopelessly in love with you. And despite all the fear, all the hesitation, and all the time I spent hiding from it, this remains the most beautiful feeling I've ever known. So here I am, finally being honest. I love you. I always have. And if you're willing to give us a chance, I'd love nothing more than to turn this beautiful feeling into something real.